Hey there, I am Gazbot. Hey, so it's Wednesday, late afternoon. I'm in my garage, which looks barren here, but as you can see, it is certainly not. It is full of garbage and art supplies and things. It's been a crazy 2 weeks, and it's not done yet. There's been family events and sickness and health and vaccines and lack of sleep and a million other things that I'm not going to get into, but my productivity has disappeared. I've barely drawn, not just artwork I have to do for clients, not for myself, just barely drawn at all. And I've been struggling just to live life lately, which is fine. That happens, but I think I'm kind of over most of the big humps, hopefully. And the next big hump, though, is the Godzilla show this weekend. And so today is Wednesday. Tomorrow is Thursday. I was originally planning on doing most of the work to get ready for it tomorrow. I don't think I'm going to have time to do it as much, so I started prepping a little bit today. And then Friday, I have to go. So today and tomorrow are the only days I have to prep. And the first thing I did is I looked. This table right here is a black folding table, which I'm going to bring without a tablecloth this time, but at least it's black, so it looks nicer than the white one I have. But all this stuff, which is toys I need to sell, throw away, sort, whatever, garbage, things I need to ship out for eBay, all this was on top of it, and I had to move it and do that. And then similarly, I had to dig out. This is the stand-up I have behind me, but I had to find the various pieces for that. And I still have a lot of work to do, but like the heavy lifting, moving stuff around in here, I think I'm done. Now I just need to go and look at what I'm actually going to package and bring and how I'm going to display it. And I'm thinking of changing it slightly. Still a lot of work to do, but I feel like this is the first step in getting back on track with like just everything. And it's good because I have no choice. A lot of times what helps me get back on track, what helps me get out of an artistic slump, whatever the thing is just you have to do it, just go. Similar with the Ultraman art cards, I only have 4 left to do, and I haven't, but I know I will hit that deadline because I have to, but because I talked about it last time, it's a little bit longer than I initially planned on. So I'll be fine not doing it until after this weekend. And then I have the other project. Actually, well, that's not, I have drawn a little bit, not a lot, but on a thing I can't show you people yet. So when I can, then this is the thing I was working on. So anyway, that's it for now. It's later on now after dinner. I started pulling some more things around, trying to figure out what I'm going to need. And I was on the fence about bringing my pins. It takes up so much space and there's so much effort. And I only sell them for $1 each or 6 for $5, but very often I'll make an extra $50 or $100 on pins. So it's like, I should. And I had made this board, I think, for San Diego Comic-Con, and it made it easier because then I would just look in the bin. Oh, you want number 22? Great, do. But I've made new pins since then, and also I don't need to showcase my Power Ranger stuff as much at a Godzilla event. So in an effort to streamline more and just sort of like get it over with, like I go back and forth because I put these bins out, and people like to dig through the bins. And I'm like, well, with COVID, do I want that? But I'm like, oh, it doesn't matter because they could just take it themselves and it's actually less contact. And then I just close it and don't touch it, until time has passed or I sanitize or whatever. But, so I'm deciding not to bring this, is what I'm getting at. Because I started saying, well, where am I going to put the new one? So I'm not going to bring that. And I'm just going to bring 2 of these cases. I'm going to load with all my Godzilla stuff. And then with room that's left over, I'll put some of the more popular Power Ranger stuff. And I've been doing that for the last half hour, 45 minutes already. All right, I don't know how long I've been out here, an hour-ish. I'm going to be done for tonight. I decided to bring a little bit of original art, but got rid of most of it. And I'm basically, it's a lot of paring down of what I would normally bring is what I've been doing, and finding things and organizing things. But I'm glad I did this now because I realize I got a lot of work to do tomorrow or later tonight maybe, but I'm pretty beat, so we'll see. It's Thursday early morning. I had an eBay sale that I just packaged up. It's weird. It's a comic. It's a trade paper, well, an anthology. It's one of the hundreds of anthologies. And it wouldn't fit in the small mailers I give for comics normally, so I had to put it in this big one. And I wrapped it in paper and put some backing boards and then have it attached to a big board. Like, it's not this big, but it is. The book is not as big as the package, is my point. So it's well protected, but it's over £1. And if anybody ships anything, once it's over £1, that's where costs go up. And I typically charge $5 flat shipping on my Etsy store, and usually that covers cost of materials and all or most of postage. Sometimes it doesn't cover it, and I lose $1 or $2 on that, but overall I'm still making money, so it's fine. But this was a case where it's so heavy that it was going to be $12 to ship, I think. Where it's like, that's like, that's all the money, you know? Like, so I thought there was another option other than first class, but I realized that I could send it media mail, theoretically, because media mail is books and books and things that don't have ads in them. And so the anthology doesn't have an ad in it, and I threw in an extra free comic, one of my old ones, that I think it might have a house ad or two for other comics that have long since expired. So buy the book, this is fine, although I've heard horror stories. The other thing is, I have heard that they occasionally open these and inspect them, which is fine, because I believe what I have in here fits the requirements, but then they might not put it together nicely, and so it might arrive in bad condition. So the person who ordered this is actually somebody I know online a bit. So I didn't tell him this ahead of time, but if it arrives good and all great, that's fine. It's kind of an experiment. If nobody opens it, I haven't really learned anything other than, hey, I got much cheaper shipping. Oh, and for clarity's sake, yeah, without media mail, it was, I think, $12 rounding. And with media mail, it's about $4. Which I still end up paying a little bit out of pocket for postage, because they paid $5, I'm paying $4, and I still have to buy all the materials. So, I'm talking like 50 cents, 75 cents, whatever. But if it arrives to them open and fine, then hey, experiment, it'll work. Even if they open, everything's fine. If it arrives to them open and damaged in some way, I will happily send them new stuff. And because I know them, hopefully that it's not like damaging my store reputation, as I'll explain. Actually, I'm gonna send them a thing right now saying, hey, thanks for the order. Just so you know, if it arrives bad, let me know and I'll replace it, is what I'm getting at. But anyway, that's what I was squeaking in this morning. And then I'll try to drop this off at the post office tomorrow, the next day, whatever. I do have to go for something else as well. So go. Thursday night, 8:55. I'm gonna head in and start preparing for slumber and televisions before slumber and whatever. Did a little more work. Table and chair are coming. This is a bin of 11 by 17 prints, which is coming. This is my display prints and some prices, which is coming. That is the backdrop, which is coming. That is for on top of the table. That's some personal protective PPE stuff, they call it, for sanitization. Those are some extra masks, the face shield masks I got, that's coming. All this is coming. This is 9 by 12s, all of them. This is the pins that I've narrowed down. These are my 8 by 8s. Now, what I've done with my 8 by 8s is what I want to do with my 9 by 6s, if I have time, and my 9 by 12s as well, is I put 5 of each. There's 2 that I only didn't have 5 of, but I just put 5 of each, and normally I try to keep inventory. What did I sell, and what was the deal? Like, I want to keep inventory to see what I sell, to know what's worth restocking and reprinting. I also want to keep track of how much money I'm making, and usually I write it down on a notepad on my phone, or often that takes too long, so I literally start writing on a piece of paper. And so it'll be like, oh, Red Power Ranger, or Godzilla versus Mothra, or whatever. And then I put 1, 2. But then also sometimes it's like, oh, they did a buy 2, get 1 free deal, or this was this deal. Or so I think what I want to do, I don't know if I'll be able to get it. This is what I'm moving towards. Whether or not I'll get there for this show, I don't know. This is something I was thinking about before the pandemic. Not having to keep track of my inventory until the end of the show. Knowing what I go there with, and then checking what I have at the end to see what I have left. That way I'm not, but still keeping track of the money I make, but not worrying about what deals were made. Because if somebody got something on sale or not, doesn't matter. It's still they chose to get one of these particular images. So, like I said, I now know that in this box of my 8 by 8s, they're all 5, with the exception of 2, which I'll note. And then at the end, I'll count and see what I have left, and there I have it. It might be hard to do that with the 11 by 17s, because those are some of my better sellers, and I tend to bring a lot, but maybe I'll just bring 10 of each or 20 of each or whatever. The 9 by 6s I have to do that with, which I think will be easy. The one that I really need to do with, but I don't know if I'll be able to, is the 9 by 6s, which I just said, I meant 9 by 12s. 9 by 6s, I have 1, 2, 3, 4 bins full, and it's mostly Power Rangers. There's a little bit of Transformers and some miscellaneous in that one, but ideally I would pare it all down to, again, like 5 of each, but I have so many, maybe I would have to do 4 or 3. But with Power Rangers, it's tricky because the Mighty Morphin, the first season, and specifically Tommy and Jason, the Red, and the Green Ranger, or White Ranger, whatever, always sell the best. And as much as, the fandom wants other characters and seasons to be as popular, and I have lots of others, and I enjoy others, it's the same way, you know, when they say, oh, a new toy line starts, they always put out Mighty Morphin this, Mighty Morphin that. Because for all these years, that's what sells. Because if someone's a casual fan, that's what they remember. There'll be people that'll walk by my table having not thought about Power Rangers since they were a kid and go, oh my gosh, Power Rangers, the Red Ranger, the Green Ranger. And they won't know any of the other Power Ranger stuff I have, but they'll know those ones. And even people that have watched more, or maybe all, there's something about it being first. Like maybe it's not your favorite season. Maybe you get your favorite season and the new season and that one weird six ranger that nobody likes, but you do. But you know what? I got to get Tommy. I got to get Jason. I got to get Kimberly. I got to get Zach, you know, because they're like the OGs. So they, for whatever reason, for all these reasons, I should say, they always sell the best. So I'm going to call it a night for tonight. Tomorrow, I think I'm going to be leaving around 3, but I'm going to have a window of an hour or two during the day where I should be able to work on this some more. And loading the car actually won't take very long. It's physically demanding, but it should only take me 5 or 10 minutes. So I'm going to stop for now and then see how much I could reorganize tomorrow before I leave, and then load up and go. And then tomorrow's showtime. Like I'll be getting there late, but it shouldn't be too late. It'll be probably a few hours before my fellow vendors, but only an hour-ish later than they open the doors and let people in. So we'll see. I'm equal parts nervous and looking forward to it. It's about 2:30 on Friday. The event starts now. The event is going. The first movie starts at 3. I knew I'd be getting there late. My goal is to get there a little before 4. It's going to be tight because I'm going to be leaving in about a half hour, but you can see I do have the car all loaded up and done. I have got my table and all stuff, everything. Your sink, their tomato plants, but the back is all filled. I actually have a lot of room. I forget because I do toy shows too. Sometimes when I do toy shows, there's no room whatsoever. But when I just do an art show, I actually have plenty of room. The only bummer is that took me, 15 minutes, but I spent an hour and 15 minutes trying to organize my 9x6s that I was talking about, the Power Rangers and stuff, and I got maybe a third of the way through it. So I'm going to bring it with me, and in my downtime, I'm going to continue to organize and get ready because I don't think I'm going to be taking any commissions. I might bring my iPad to try to get some work done on either the project I can't talk about or some Ultraman sketch card roughs, but I think what I might do is if I take a commission, which I don't want to, I don't plan on, I won't do it there. I'll be like, hey, come back tomorrow and I'll have it, or I'll mail it to you or something like that. But honestly, I shouldn't take any. So here we are at the Balboa Theater. As you can see, I'm set up on the left here, and it's just getting started, the next movie. And so when the movies are in, the lobby is fairly empty. And the front of the building is 3 glass doors, 2 of which are open, getting good airflow going. So initially I felt pretty good about safety stuff, but not so good about attendance. But the attendance actually was good, especially on Saturday, which was quite robust, or gangbusters, as I like to say. And it was a good time in general. On Friday, there was this little fire engine, which at first we didn't know what it was, but I guess somebody locally, privately owns that. And it's not functioning, but it's sort of a photo op, and it's from Japan, so it was on theme. And he had a little PA system where he was announcing, "Watch out, Godzilla's in the area," and it was pretty fun. I ended up having Frosted Flakes. I was gonna only have 1 box and be super good, but I spilled about half of it on the floor, so now I have 1.5 boxes. I had these in a very long time. They mainly make me think of when I was a kid. I guess I might have had them at home, but I also specifically remember having them at a diner too, and being simultaneously thrilled about how fun a little package it was and disappointed how little was in it. I got them I don't know, because I kept buying big boxes and not finishing them. So this is a way to ensure that I finish, or if I don't, they stay fresh, and give me a little variety, and just feel like a kid again. And also kind of feel like a giant, like, Anyway, so I'm leaving for the show earlier today in about 2 hours, which will still get me there later than I should be. The first movie starts at 11, so I should be getting there around 11, assuming I hustle right out of here. But ideally, I would be there beforehand. I'm all set up and everything, but ideally, I'd be there beforehand to get the sales of the people coming in for that show, which I'll probably miss, unfortunately. And then I'm going to be there all day until, I think, 7 is the last show, or no, 8's the last show, and I'm going to not stay after. Well, I'll talk about this more when I'm driving up, about how yesterday went. So I ended up not recording while I was driving up, but I'll talk about it now. Here's my display, and I changed it constantly. I ended up putting 2 ups of the Shin Godzilla and the Gamera versus Godzilla instead of displaying other stuff. I kept tweaking it the entire weekend. They had a Godzilla in suit. This is again, like, this would be considered a busy lobby which is good and bad. It's bad for sales. That's Nick Shev. He's another great Godzilla artist to my right. I took a break. A bunch of us took a break and went to have lunch. You could see my fellow art friends from the show over there because I was acting more conservatively about COVID than they were. But it was good because nobody was judging anybody. And I was like, okay, you want to sit over there by yourself? Go ahead. And I'll be honest, I loved it. I loved sitting there in the cold, eating my eggs by myself. Not that I wouldn't have liked to sit with them, but that was the most I've been out. And here again, I moved the pins over and I changed things around and I just continually kept adjusting what I had up there. And I probably will completely revamp it before the next show. So it's 3-something on Saturday. I'm taking a quick walk to put money in the meter. I have to do it every 2 hours and I have to alternate credit cards because they don't want people to take the spot all day. And I would take a different spot, but there are no spots to take. So, I mean, I guess I understand, like, if people are shopping or whatever, but, like, I'm working. I need to be here. Like, how do people do it that work at stores? I don't know. Anyway, so yesterday, I got here a little bit later and set up and stuff. Didn't do amazing sales-wise. I think in the neighborhood of $100. But that's, like, money I wouldn't have had, and it's a show and whatever. And so I got here today at a weird time because I kind of came when one show was already in. So, like, the first hour I was here, there was, like, no one here. Or they were here, but they're all in the movies and stuff. And then one show got out and I sold like a couple pins or something and then took a break and had lunch. Came back. Now I've done more. I don't know how much I've made, but more than I made yesterday already. And there's going to be another show or so. And then there's going to be another long break in between where maybe I'll have an early dinner. I don't know. And then I'll probably cut it at 8. But I've been having a much better time today, like socializing and being able to go and have some eggs at a restaurant. And money-wise, like I said, not doing gangbusters, but it's all gravy that I wouldn't have had sitting at home not doing a show. So actually, it did become gangbuster sales. Saturday was the big day. I hear you see Godzilla chomping around. And it was a good time, as I said, but sales did pick up so that Saturday basically justified the entire weekend. And I did rearrange my my booth again, displaying some original art. Nick next to me was selling his original art. I mean, I sell my original art, but he was actually selling it. I usually just have it in the back, or I don't know. I have a hard time displaying it. I don't want to leave it out for people to grab, but I changed my tune and put a few out. I also put my book back out, which I had taken away because I was, again, I'm restructuring, but the people like flipping through the book, and even though I have all the art up behind me, somehow they miss it. But if in the book, they see it all, and so it definitely helps sales. Despite my not really wanting to have a book there, it just makes sense. This is a booth setup I had earlier on that I did change. One of the things you can see, that print, it looks like it's the book, but it's a print of Godzilla vs. Mothra laying flat down. That got replaced by the book. You can see some stickers in between where my pins are. Those stickers I was selling for $8 a while ago. Then I dropped it to $5 because I'd made my money back and they weren't selling extremely well. And I started giving them away because I don't know if it's storage or what, but the stickiness isn't what it should be, and they were peeling off a little bit, and I couldn't guarantee that they would be that viable. And so I just started, anybody that spent 10 or 20 bucks at my booth, I gave it away, and that's unfortunate, but you know, I feel better about that than possibly giving someone a defective product. 8:20, the last show got in at 8. I stayed a little bit longer because there was a bit of a crowd, and then some people wanted to take some group shots, which I wanted to do, and I did. But I tried to social distance at the same time, like by standing in front of the group or behind the group. Yeah, I'm the conservative of the group now. Who'd have thunk? Sunday, day 3. It's about almost 12:30. The first movie starts at 1, so I'm actually here before the first movie, and I am the first and only artist here today. So even though I was late, very late the first day, a little late yesterday, I'm early-ish today, and I did make a few more changes. I've been changing my table and my layout the whole time. I have the bucket of 9x6s right here, and I had all the Power Rangers loaded up front, and there's been very little interest in Power Rangers, so I just flipped it and put Gypsy Danger and all the other miscellaneous up front with the Power Rangers in back. I meant to bring more Werewolves vs. Unicorns books because I had 3 and I sold 2, which is unusual, but I guess if I sold one more, you know, good problem to have. And I also rearranged that bucket because 2 of the movies they're showing are Hedorah and Gigan. So you can't see from here, but I put Gigan and Hedorah right up front there. So again, just keep tweaking. The other thing I was thinking of, a lot of people see the art and are complimenting it, looking at it, and then at some point they're like, oh, this is your art? You did all this? So I was thinking of actually getting a sign to go up there and or a runner on the front of the table that would just say something like Artist Gazbot or Gazbot the Artist or some, which sounds stupid, and I'm not trying to like, hey, look at me, I'm an artist, but just because so many people don't realize it's me, and when they realize I'm the artist, it always is more interesting than just some guy who's selling art that isn't his or that, you know, is company art or whatever, I don't know. So it just seems like, I don't know, it just seems like a good idea. .6:30 Sunday, 6:38. The last show went in at 6. I waited a few minutes, then started this little pack up. I now have my last cart out to the car. I'm getting out of here pretty quick. So yeah, in conclusion, it was good to get out. It's been quite a while, obviously, for a variety of reasons. Financially, it made sense. You know, it was a worthwhile investment to get some money. It felt good to get out there and be an artist, you know, in public. You know, obviously I've been creating art in my bubble and a little bit online to get feedback, but there's nothing like actually being in public and having people enjoy your work, plus being around other artists and talking both art shop and business shop and talking Godzilla and other stuff that doesn't matter whatsoever. And a big thanks to Bob and all the people at Bay Area Film Events and Adam and the Balboa Theater for putting on such awesome events and making a space for vendors and artists to be a part of it and for fans. And it's a great event that I would go to as a fan if I wasn't working. And they do it now. I think they're going to do it twice a year. I mean, they're doing it again in August, and I should be going to that. So I'm looking forward to that, which hopefully will be even safer than it was this time. But again, I felt nervous going in as far as safety, but I felt more unsafe going to Target and other places, because here at least everyone was following the rules and wearing their masks and all that stuff. So that concern, I don't know if this makes me feel safe to go to like a big convention. And a matter of fact, there's a toy convention that I normally do that's been canceled like 15 times, and they canceled the summer one again because it's at a big convention center and they couldn't. It just won't open under the regulations and stuff. But for a small thing like this, like maybe go into a comic store or something where, again, the doors are open, everything's properly ventilated, I could see doing another small one like this in the near future, if not a big one. And I would say if you feel safe about it and if you have an opportunity, mental health-wise, it does a world of good. And, you know, again, also selling some art does good for the bank account, of course. I do feel bummed that I didn't have more new artwork, but I did have some new artwork, and I also had some new people that hadn't seen my stuff before, but I am inspired. I need to be working on my sketch arts, which I have gotten back to. I'm recording this the next week. I have to finish my sketch cards in that other project and then get back on the horror. But I definitely want to have new work for the August show. At the very least, one new 11x17 print, which are the hardest for me to do, time-wise and energy-wise and stuff, but they're the most bang for the buck. They're the most impressive that people see. I could put them on the big splash behind me. And everything I have, somebody will eventually buy. Sometimes more, sometimes less. But the 11x17 stuff, and I have a few that people don't buy. That just aren't popular. Maybe they don't like the art. Maybe they don't like the characters, whatever. But generally speaking, when I put a lot of work into an 11x17, I know that'll be a good seller. It's just a lot of work, and sometimes it doesn't sell, and it's like, But I would like to have one done for the next show, is my point. I'm blabbering. I'm blathering. It was a lot of work. My legs hurt. I was exhausted my throat was scratchy from talking as though I was sick, but it was just talking so much because I haven't done one of these in a year. So all the things that I would do that normally make you a little tired got me extremely tired. And so Monday I was wiped out. So yeah, thanks for checking it out. And got some Power Ranger stuff coming up if you're interested in that. We got an interview coming up. And I will have another update that won't be as exciting as this one, recapping the week after the show. And more to come and blah blah blue. Okay, see you later. Bye.
Definitely a filter, right? No, it's actually just me breathing in and talking at the same time.